All right, welcome everybody. Error? Nope. I don't have an error. Does anybody else have an error? I don't have one. I can see it. Don't know. I don't know. Anybody else have the error? I can see it on my screen. Mm, Maybe it's at Upper Michigan internet is what the problem is. Yeah, see? She's good. I think it's you. Yeah, no idea. All right, so looking at it for the day, rather flat day, right? In the last 24 hours. Obviously, there's some movement early on in the day, as you guys could see. Again, even I'm good. Birds, you want some food? Huh? You want some food? You want a little bit of food? Yeah, it's his dial-up internet connection is what it was. Maybe he needs a new AOL dial-up disk. All right, so all right, birds are fed. Hopefully, they will be quiet for us. Probably not, but we'll see. All right, so looking for the day, you guys can see that the euro dollar down 26 again, continuing that euro weakness. We talked about that earlier, and again, this one kind of again kind of expected this when we saw this German economic sentiment lower. Came in, the forecast was 20, came in at 8.7, so quite a bit difference. And as I mentioned last night, obviously Germany is the biggest economy in the EU. So this was kind of a big deal that being this low. Pound number is also low, and again you can see pound basically flat here, but again pound saw a little bit of strength versus the euro. Again, the European weakness is a little bit, overtaking what we saw with the average earnings. And again, average earnings is considered an orange; it's not considered a red. But you'll see slight increase, and again, a decline a little bit. Now, again, nothing got even remotely close. Everything was basically like a quarter of its ATR for the day. So, rather slow day. I expected we get a little bit more movement today, with yesterday being off, but the answer is no. Earlier today, obviously, there was a bit more. Again, CAD manufacturing numbers, again, quite a big miss, right? It was expected to be 0.8 and came back in as -7. So that's not necessarily a good sign for the Canadian economy. And again, that pair is only up about 8 pips right now in 24 hours, but it was actually up a bit more earlier. Okay. And Australia weight index came exactly as expected, so nothing there. And again, you can see in 24 hours, it basically hasn't moved. Although in the last, 15 minutes, you can see that, it's basically as much movement as we've seen in the kind of retracement back up to what we lost for the day. So basically more or less flat. So again, looking at the news for today, you guys can see here, wages growth, really nothing that really kind of stands out. This is interesting. FXCM partners with TradingView on trading platform integration. So I'm kind of curious to see what will come of this whole thing. FXCM is not a bad brokerage firm. They did get into a lot of trouble when the Swiss had its problems, but yeah, it'll be interesting. A long-standing broker like FXCM, we look forward to seeing the community. So we'll see what happens with that one. That's kind of interesting. And then again, Canadian inflation, the Tesla news rebound. Now, looking at the hottest stories, restrictions on trade being considered. Congress is ridiculous. Again, I kind of agree. I think Congress has overstepped their bounds on so many things at this point. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And again, I think it's a dangerous precedent going forward because now Congress will always believe that they need to be this proactive and focus on things that don't necessarily pertain to them. I like this one. China will stabilize foreign trade investment to minimize impact of virus. It's like, okay, all right, sure. We'll see. And then the rest of that is basically nothing, right? Some drawings, some sanctions, nothing else crazy. So again, rather flat, kind of, quiet day. Looking at tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow on the scanner, I have reds and oranges, so high impact and medium. As you can see, CPI year over year and then PPI month over month is starting at 4:30 a.m. So tomorrow could be another one of those times where we see a little bit more popping. Now, interesting enough, the forecast of this one, and again, I actually look at these things and I pay attention to them. Previous was a 1.3 and the forecast is 1.6. Okay. When you start to see something like this, like the consumer price index kind of heating up over here, right? Anytime you see this, we have that it's a level of inflation, right? And you guys can see here, consumer prices account for a majority of overall inflation. Well, the way that you block inflation is to raise rates, right? Kind of a balancing effect, right? Interesting enough, you start raising this, what does that do? That brings in pound strength, okay? So not only do we have Brexit, but then this will give us a bit more pound strength if this is continuing to be a good number, and then they'll start thinking about raising rates. So that's kind of interesting, you know. Jumping into the 8:30 hour, we see CPI for the Canadian government. Again, we expect it to be a little bit, but point two is like nothing, so that's really kind of nothing you really kind of have to worry about. Anything inside of here, PPI is a number that we can get some pops on and retracements on. If we have some type of a miss, but it doesn't miss as often. It's a 0.1, and then again, this one is supposed to be an increase, so the market has probably already factored in good news. Now, if this one disappoints, right? If this is negative or flat, again, that would give us a little bit more CAD weakness and continue to drop things lower. All right. Now, tomorrow there are FOMC notes at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So again, make sure your positions are protected. And then 7:30, we have the unemployment rate. So that's always a good one for the Australian dollar. Again, it's supposed to be 10K. Last time it was 28.9. The unemployment rate increased last time. So this time, let's see if there's any type of an adjustment, and we'll see if it increases again. And it'd be kind of interesting to see if this one will help bring in continued weakness inside of the Australian dollar. Again, we've seen that again, mostly because of the coronavirus, but we'll see if we can continue this. Things continues, pushing down to the bottom side. All right, so very, very interesting. We'll see how that one kind of labels out. One sec. Sorry, guys. Um, um, about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, they sent out it says the first draft of the brackets. I guess in my son's age group, there were so many teams this year, they had to break us up into 4 divisions. My team actually got thrown into the bottom division. So I sent it to my other coaches. I'm like, can you believe where they placed this? And they were like, are they serious? Like, they're typically, like in youth sports, there's always those teams that sandbag. Like, my team is not one of them. We hate sandbagging. I'd much rather us play up and lose a lot versus us sandbagging and just blowing everybody out. We're in a division. We're literally going to blow everybody out. And I sent it to my two coaches, and now they're like, literally, it's like they're in like a meme more back and forth, like how angry they are. It's so funny. So yeah, it's crazy. And the team that my team actually helped, about half my players helped out last year, got bumped up a division, and they didn't have it was a bad coach. I was not the head coach. I coached the defense, and they weren't that great. And their team is really bad this year because they don't have any of my players, and they got bumped up a division. I'm like, what are they, crazy? What is wrong with these people? So yeah, lots of drama. Youth sports, who knew, right? But anyway, Australian weakness. Looking forward to that one tomorrow. Like I said, I think that will continue, and again, coronavirus-based stuff. And again, today the only thing we've seen here is Japanese government to keep economy recovering despite virus risk. It hasn't jumped over the water yet, so again, we're not seeing any really necessarily bad news. All right. All right, let's go over and let's jump into the charts now. Oh, let me do scanner real quick today. Actually, I do want to do the scanner a little bit early today because I want to highlight some things. One thing I want to highlight, again, we've seen a little bit of pound strength, but look over here on the right-hand side. Look inside of this pound basket. Consolidation, 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 and then these two at least a little bit of a pullback and a confirm. But again, you guys can see it's already starting to kind of get mixed signals on the bottom one. But look at all the consolidation over here inside of the pound. Very interesting. Canadian pair, same thing. Consolidation, 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 consolidation. Downtrend setup, meaning that it's pulling back against these two pairs. But now again, interesting. Not a whole lot of movement. Now, looking at the European basket, here we got a bunch of different setups, right? They're all basically the same. They're all downtrend setups. We've seen that weakness. We've seen a little bit of a pullback. Things are continuing to push forward. Hold on one sec. They did it again. They're like, wait, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm working, guys. Secret information I gave him. So. But inside the European basket, again, downtrend setup, downtrend setup, downtrend setup, all these different setups in here. And again, they're all kind of giving us the same position. So always interesting when you see that. Now, here's what I like about this. Of these four, look at all the sideways up confirmed on the hour as well as the 4 hour. So big question is, are these setups because they just bounced off demand zones? Should we be looking now in the lower time frames to see if we're going to get a setup in the opposite direction? That's always a big key when you start to see this. The same thing over here, right? And again, we already know it's low on the curve, so we know that we should be looking for long positions if we're bouncing off demand. Now, looking at the majors, okay, we'll cover the majors now. Dollar Swiss, again, uptrend setup. We have the downtrend setup here, downtrend setup here, downtrend setup here, a little consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. So based off of these four, right, based off these four, again, we're seeing some dollar strength come back into the market. Now, again, not really a whole lot of dollar strength today, but with FOMC notes tomorrow, building permits, core PPI, it gives us the ability to get into some trades here as well. All right. Aussie basket, again, same thing, lots of setups. CAD basket, again. CAD and pound don't really excite me as much, but the Euro baskets and the Aussie basket, again, I'm looking for kind of bounces in the same direction in both those pairs. So definitely interesting. Was kind of excited tonight when I saw the setup. I see a lot of squares. Gotta love it when you see a lot of squares up there. It's always a good thing, right? Hold on. Sorry, guys. All right. All right. So pretty excited. So let's get them across in the charts, and we'll start pulling this. Oops. I thought I had this one set up already. Nope, I didn't. Hold on. Let me blow that out of the way. There we go. Got the die, added that one. All right, so starting back on the daily, okay? So this is what I was talking about. We were in that downtrend setup situation. The question was, were we bouncing off of anything? Was the reason we had a downtrend setup because we were inside of an area of demand? You should write your congressman? Wait, why would I write my congressman? Oh, about the youth sport thing? Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, you don't even want to get me started. It's crazy. And that's one league. I've been having a debate with the other league all morning as well. All right, so that's why we have the downtrend set up off the daily. So looking at the 4 hour, okay? Looking at the 4 hour, we can see again, this is a little bit cleaner. We came down, we tagged that zone, and we're starting to push back up again. Now, is there much in here? No. Is there the green, red, green? Yeah, it looks like we are now in a confirmed uptrend, right? Because we bounced off a demand zone. We have the confirmation colors. We don't really have anything too much stopping us until we get back up into this range here, right? So drop it a lower time frame. The question is, can we get into anything here, right? Question is, again, will we continue to push higher? Right? We just pulled back. We just got a little bit of an entry, but it's not the cleanest entry. And again, we have lower highs on this one. So what I'm looking for in this is there an area where we can jump back in to ride this back down for another attempt? Or is this going to be a true trend reversal and we're going to start pushing back up again? So looking over here, I don't really see ton. I mean, again, if this was a super, super clean entry, I'd be like, yeah, we need to watch out for that. But it's really not. It's been gradual. There's not a lot of wicks on the top side. Really the best levels up top. So if we can start getting some nice quality demand zones below here, again, we can start, looking for some longs in this position. I don't mind this, but right now where we are, again, looking to the left from the zone, you guys can see there's two different areas of buyers down here. So not necessarily a bad area to be able to grab something if it comes back down again. What we don't want it to do though is we don't want it to kind of come up to here and then slam right back down again. Okay. If it is kind of a punchy entry, it may be a little bit weird. But I'm kind of liking this one for somewhat of a long. I'd like to see if we can get this push higher, right? I would like to see this current green bar. I would like to see it close above this. That would be, or at least keep, at least when we paint the next candle, at least be at the very, very top. I don't want to see any type of a wick back to the downside. I don't want to see true consolidation. Again, it is, right? We have lower highs here. We have higher lows. So again, it is consolidating back in again, but I'm looking for this one potentially to go long overnight. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay. So Aussie, New Zealand, again, you guys can see on the 4 hour, we had a bit of a pop. And again, a lot of this came off of last night, that news. You guys can see time-wise, right? Here's where we are right now. It's at 21 if you look at the bottom. And we go back, the 21 is right here. Okay. It is, yes, this green one. Okay. Actually, it's this red one. So we just popped off that 4 hour demand zone and we continue to push back up. Now, it actually got stuck over here. I can put this back on. I'll take this one off. It actually got stuck in this little area here, but at least it's starting to get a little bit of green again. So kind of an interesting area. Yeah, there are some sellers up there, but not one of those things you'd be like, yeah, I love that zone. Not one of those type things. And you can see now, based off the way that it's formed and it's retested, it's kind of pushing back down again. But we do have a little bit of a zone right here in the middle, so kind of the same situation. To me, that looks like this one wants to rally higher. We'll see if that's the base of the low side, and then if it continues to push up. All right, so not too bad. All right. Oops. So that's what I'm thinking. Kind of the same idea. And again, 30-minute, you guys can see, it's marking a wick over wick here, but I'd probably use one of the zones up in here if I was looking to take a short. Now, this is not horrible, right? It's a lot of wicks though, unfortunately. So again, you could take it, but for something smaller. And the reason I say something smaller is because, you know, you guys can see the 1 to 3, not a bad place, right? If this goes green all the way up, this is a great place right here, right? It's before the pivot. The 5 to 1, a little interesting, right? It's probably okay. And again, it popped, went sideways, and then popped again. So not a bad little basing level if you were looking to take this for something tonight, right? Something a little bit on the lower time frame. And again, all these wicks are going to the downside. Obviously, a very much smaller time frame trend. Over here we're talking about it going higher. Even on the alley, we're talking about it going back up again. But from that base down here, that's not a bad little kind of turn, right? Because we can get a 1 to 3 into the downside. All right. Your heart can't take trading. Oh God, what did you do now, Tech? When it hit 37. 500 is good, but I feel like if your heart's racing that much, you're probably were in a bit over your head. So that's Aussie New Zealand. Let's go over to Aussie Yen. So bringing this one back on the 4 hour, you can see again we went off that same area we talked about last night. We ended up bouncing higher on this one. Looking at it on the hourly, you can see not a bad little bounce, right? Right? Came all the way down, grabbed the orders here, pushed up, didn't make it all the way up, and now we're pushing a bit higher. Now, this one I'm actually expecting the way that it looks here, it looks like we are going to have a little bit of rollover in there. It's just about finding a zone. Unfortunately, this is kind of a lot of junk in here. Nothing really, really clear. Really, I think the 4 hour zone is probably the best one. And we need about 34 pips before we can get up to that range. 34 is possible. It's about 6-8 hours worth of pip movement that we need it to move. And again, the way that it's coming off this demand zone, pretty fiercely. I mean, we are what? About 47 pips up off of that area already. I'm sure we'll see a little bit of a pullback in this area. And then again, if we get higher, be looking to take some type of a short on this one off the 4 hour. Now, again, this area is only about 16 pips, 16 and a half pips. So it's something we can take on a 4 hour with a higher degree of confidence, right? Versus something down here in the 1 hour. The 1 hour shows there is an area just a little bit above, but again, the 4 hour is actually pegging this zone right here. So if you really want to kind of get really specific about it, again, you can go to the higher time frame if you want. But for me, I don't necessarily mind this 4 hour. The way that it kind of rocketed off here and it got front run here before it hit that zone again. I think there's probably some sellers sitting in that zone a little bit early. All right. Looking at Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD is still sitting inside of that demand zone. So it drove pretty deep and then popped up on the daily. You guys can see as well in the 4 hour, we're literally just riding along that thing. We do have a green, a red, and a green out of it. So we are confirmed that it is going to head back to the top side. But with Canadian news in the morning, I'd be a little bit cautious about this one, particularly because we expect the Canadian news to be somewhat negative. Again, with it being somewhat negative, it's forecast to be on the positive side. Anything negative is going to pop this up. The way that looks like now, it looks like it's going to continue to go higher during the night, right? So if we are in this zone, again, potentially you could take this one before the news, but I think it's probably safest if we wait till basically trading it afterwards, right? Wait till price comes up, pops, and then take this one short. Kind of, again, matches a lot of the other pairs, something along those lines. And I like this one. The 1 to 3 is in a good place, as well as the 1 to 5 is in a good place on this one as well. And again, this is playing more of a shorter term target, okay? Making another attempt because this was here. Then this was here, and then this one drove even further, which means this zone is starting to run out of buyers. All right. 100% slow money after I sell this. AMD calls, SMD calls. Man, you have so many trades on. Yeah. If you have more trades on than fingers on your hand, typically that means you're also doing something wrong. Especially because, let's see, you have basically mostly tech companies. So if the whole tech sector drops, you're getting nailed. That's why diversification is a little important. All right, so that would be Aussie CAD. So nothing really exciting in Aussie CAD. I'm only in SBF and A. So you said that you were in all those things all at the same time. I was like, got a lot of double trades there. Gotta always be careful with those double trades. That was the one thing when I used to do advising. It's funny, people are like, well, I have this mutual fund, and I have this mutual fund, and I have this one over here. So this is a moderate one, this is a conservative one, this is a growth one, this is a value one. So I'm covered, right? And then when you break it down what's inside each of them, I'm like, well, this one has this much Apple, this one has this much Apple, this one has this much Apple, this one has this much Apple. So your overall exposure to Apple, pretty high. And they were like, oh, and like the light bulb went off. But it's always funny when you see people that are traders, they'll do the same thing. They pick like 5 things in the same sector. Just for example, I mean, I use technology because it's easy. They'll pick 5 different things in the same, and it's like, oh, it matches on everything. And then something like Apple happens where they get like, oh yeah, this happened, and then everything in the entire sector drops, and they're like, I don't know how it went wrong. You just took 5 losers all in a row. It's because all your trades are basically based off the same kind of technicals. But having two, you should probably be okay with two. All right. So Aussie Swiss again. This one had bounced off that demand zone. Again, we're rallying back up again, and we're flirting with that gap. We hit that gap on Friday, and this was one of those ones we were talking about getting a short in because again, the gap was a nice little area. Drop into a 4 hour, right? Again, here's the gap. We touch the gap. We drop back down again. Pretty clean too, right? Not a lot of drama. It wasn't a lot of kind of back and forth. Pretty clean, and now we're pushing back up again. So we're kind of right in the middle in the 4 hour. I'm interested to see where this one goes to see if we can get an entry, right? Let's reset the indicator. And that's kind of where we're at. Nothing really like, no big pops. I mean, there's a pop right here, but besides that, this was kind of a slow grind. So I'm wondering if we can kind of get back up to this top section. And even the zones up here, I don't really love them, right? Don't really love them. I don't mind this one. This was pretty clean. So this one's kind of strange. It's like, yeah, on 4 hour, that's a nice little zone there, but we still have about 22 pips. So that's about 5-6 hours. That may be an interesting little short. Again, it's taking advantage a little bit of aggressiveness off the gap. But last time it turned around and what did it do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a lot of time, right? 7 4-hour candles. Pretty decent kind of trend to the downside. So if we can grab that, that could be another little short. And again, it matches everything else we've seen in the Aussie. Looking at Aussie Singapore, again on the daily, this one's kind of flatlining out a little bit. Like I said, I think the Singapore is a bit dangerous right now. Again, we are still between the rock and the hard place on the 4 hour. Either of these two sides, I think, are worthy of a sell or a buy. So again, not necessarily bad, not necessarily bad areas to be able to trade top or bottom. You are about, what's that, 30 from the top, and you're about 43 from the bottom. So again, set yourself an alert. You can put yourself an alert. Say, hey, listen, if it comes here, I want to know. If it comes here, I want to know. Okay. Either way, you should be good. All right. And again, you can do that by doing view. It's view, terminal, and then go into the alert section and set yourself top and bottom alerts on that one. All right. All right. So that is Australia. Let's see. Let's bring this down. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get caught up in chat real quick. I see a bunch of chat over there. No. Those are the plates I'm looking at after I get a space. Guns do well because during election year. Excuse me. Oh, wrong pipe. Oof. I had a cough drop in because my nose is running again. And I just swallowed. Oof. I didn't swallow the cough drop. I swallowed basically the cough drop stuff down the wrong pipe. Yeah, guns should do well, and they're probably doing well today because Virginia voted down that assault weapon ban. So that's probably why you're seeing some movement in guns. I guess in Virginia they wanted to basically ban standard size magazines as a way to just get rid of all guns, and it didn't work. Do y'all use any of the automation? No, I don't use any of the automation with it, Jesse. And here's why. So typically in normal settings inside of the market, things like automation is okay, right? It's not bad, right? But what happens is when the markets get a little bit funky or something happens it's not planned for, automation tends to break down a little bit. So there are certain market conditions, and actually one of the market conditions a lot of automation does not work great in. And again, specifically if it's not designed to take advantage of, like basically if there's not limits on how many times you can take a position. A lot of times what happens is either it tries to take a whole lot of positions back and forth and gets whipsawed around, or something big happens and you take big losses in it. Not to say that's all the time, but those are the stories you hear about all the time. Or vice versa. There's a limit on how many times you can enter, say, when it enters a specific area or a specific condition is met. And the problem is then, like the markets are flat, it doesn't do anything. It just stays there, right? And maybe, it takes itself off or whatever, but it's already triggered. It's one time that you can enter there. So it may have stayed in, say, a zone like this and just gone sideways for a while, right? But it's already triggered, right? It's already triggered. And then you miss it when it actually moves because you've already had your one trigger and it took itself out at like a break even or maybe a small loss or something like that. The small loss is not bad, but then you're missing opportunity. Unfortunately, a lot of the trading algorithms out there they're not quite up the speed as far as what's reliable. Whatever's hot today tends to be not hot in a month from now or a year from now. It's hard because you have to constantly be adapting to what you see in market conditions. Another great example is like a lot of people like swing trading. Right now, we are not in a swing trading market. Okay, so if you are using some type of automation that is basically designed for swing trading, it does great in a swing trading environment. It typically does not do well in a sideways market. Okay, I mean, right now we have two currency pairs or three currency pairs that have moved less than 10 pips technically in 24 hours. So it can take a lot of positions, and again, you don't have as much control over your account. All right, so CAD yen. CAD yen pushed back up inside of that zone. You guys can see it is pulling away on the hourly. It did touch it, and it's down about 6 pips. Nothing too crazy, right? On the daily, again, you guys can see it here. You can see it on the 4 hour. Same situation. Again, we are pulling back again. Now, just be cautious. Again, this one got front run. This was 1. This was 2. This is number 3. It is pulling back. But just if you guys did get short in this one, again, make sure you definitely watch it, right? There's your spike up. There's your zone. Again, it's just slightly above, and now it's starting to pull back again. So we'll see if it closes in 3 minutes and starts to give us a little bit of red. But again, it's starting to close basically in the middle of the candle. So it's kind of a neutralized candle. Now, I know it's green and people say, no, that's bullish. No, it's neutral because it's closing smack dead in the middle. If it closed up here, yes, bullish. Here, not so much, right? So that's where I'm kind of looking at this one is more or less getting shorts. But again, keeping this in a big context, yeah, we have a short here, but you need to make sure you have your profit targets out before this level. This 5-to-1 is probably in a good area. It may just be slightly low. You may want to put it just a bit higher at 82.72. Again, it is channeling sideways, so again, you want to make sure you get out before the lows of this one. Last time it didn't make it quite as low as well. All right, so again, short CAD yen is what we're looking for. CAD Swiss, kind of in the same situation, right? Let me bring this to the daily, give it new data. You guys can see we are pulled back up as well. So this pair as well is also showing kind of a similar situation. Being in an area of supply, looking to kind of flip and turn to the downside, okay? You like that when you see it on two different pairs, all right? And we are seeing it. Now, ideally, I would have liked it to be a little bit higher. I like this zone better than this zone. But again, beggars can't be choosers. It's another area of supply. 2 in supply typically means that we're going to have some type of a flip or, the potential for it to flip overnight, okay? Neither Nadex-based pairs, so these are, purely in spot currency-based trades. Let's look at the Swiss. I'll make this bigger. Daily. All right, so on the daily, you guys can see this one sitting on side of a huge daily demand zone. All right, so pullback. You can see marked off saying, listen, if this came down, we were looking for. Quite get there, right? We did not get the bounce that we were looking for. We were looking down, give us the Harry Potter trade, the white space, the red, the black space below it. We didn't get it, right? We were looking for it to go below and give us a nice little clean area, right? We didn't get it. We never got the black space. It broke, but did we get any black space underneath? Nope. It rode right along the top of this zone, came back up, came back down, came back over. So we never got the actual Harry Potter entry in this one to go lower. Some people see this and say, wait, did you get stopped out? No. We never got the entry. You could not draw a triangle underneath this thing. So nothing to do in this one. Again, it still holds valid if we're able to come down and actually get some space where you can actually, when I say black, again, you got to be able to see this, right? The little, the checkered through, up, and down. Draw a Harry Potter symbol, right? The little lightning bolt. Till we get the lightning bolt, we do not have an entry to the downside, okay? It is not there yet, but it is sitting there, and it's super, super close. Even on the 30-minute, you can see. We basically made one candle below, but it just rode along the bottom. So, and again, easiest is to see it on the 1 hour. Okay, again, set your alerts, let it know next time it comes down here, and then that'll be the, where you want to go. All right. So that's Swiss. Let's drop into the euro. So European pairs across the board. Let me drag the scanner back in. Again, there's European pairs. Uptrend setup, downtrend setup, downtrend setup, downtrend setup, and a little bit of consolidation. So you guys can see there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's a lot of similar stuff, right? So looking at Euro Aussie, again, pulling this back to the daily, you can see on the daily, again, we had this big impulse correction, and now we're kind of back in that impulse move, right? Dropping it down on the 4 hour. 4 hours not as impressive, right? Down, down, and now not only we bounced off this little zone, we went bink, bink, bink. Now, didn't quite make it up. There was a trade entry here, but unfortunately it didn't get up there. It did it front run. This is what we're looking at on the 1 hour. Okay. Now, there's a lot in here. I think we talked about this last night. Okay. I don't know if that, let's see, did it? I don't think it snagged it. No, I didn't see it last night. All right. We talked about this. Price had dropped, base sideways. And again, I remember drawing this one because here was the test candle, right? We had this level right here.
And you guys can see that's what we ran into. Okay. Now it did go slightly out of it. It went about 3 pips off the top side, but this one will typically have a little bit bigger of a spread, so you have to take that into account, right? But we have pushed back and basically pulled all the way back down again, back to lower areas. Now, what we're looking for now is, do we necessarily have a trend? And the answer is not really, right? We're pushing down. We've had some problems going any lower. Here was the low. Here's a higher low. Here's a higher low. We have some buyers sitting right below here. So in essence, we only have about 20 pips before we run into that area. Makes it a little bit dangerous to be taking any type of shorts. If anything, we need to wait till it comes a little bit lower. And again, this zone is not the best. And if you look back, it's kind of like, it's all right, right? It's all right. And again, this will be an Aussie play. I'm interested to see where this one is tomorrow night, right? I want to see if is it able to go down? Is it going to base sideways? What's it going to do? This would be one tomorrow night for that employment change in the unemployment rate for the Aussie. I think, again, another day of European weakness. We'll continue to push this down. Question is how much farther down? Could we grind through this level and could we get to this lower one? That one is about 120 pips. The daily ATR is 116. So it's right there. But, like I said, I'd much rather be down here for that news release. Or if we get a spike into that, that could be an interesting area to kind of, take a long out of that area with a new spike down and then a parabolic retracement back up again. So that's kind of how I'm playing Euro Aussie tomorrow. Looking at Euro New Zealand. Okay. You guys can see, let me get the 4 hour, sorry. You can see on the 4 hour, we had this level of basing. We popped, and now we're kind of back down again. So we didn't make it all the way back up. We're not really close to the bottom. We're talking about being about 80 pips from the bottom. A lot of movement this one. A lot of movement that we need for this one. Even on lower time frame, you can see not really much here, right? A little bit of up and down, and now we're back at a level of buying. But we are wedged. So again, really don't like anything on Euro New Zealand. Euro dollar. All right, so here's that zone we drew last night. Euro dollar has moved minus 26 pips, right? You guys can see super low on the curve. We got a weekly zone down here. We didn't quite make it. Here's what we got going on the 4 hour. Okay, we were looking for some type of a pullback in, right? Here's where we are right now on the 4 hour. And here's where we were last night. Okay, we had one little pop down. It kind of moved back up again, but at the end of the day, you guys can see it's moved a total of about 26 pips. Not really enough for us to trade. Didn't get back into that entry zone as well. Dropping it down to an hourly, got in the same situation. You guys can see we weren't able to get into anything. Again, it kind of formed the zone here, but we never even made it. So unfortunately, no entries on Euro dollar for us. Like I said, I'd like to pull back to a clean area. I think I like the gray area still, but that gray area is about 35 pips away. That'd be an interesting reversal. I'm still holding on. Like I said, there's still this buying area here. If we can pull back up again, it's going to be looking for orders to make that final push. I do like, taking something off of this zone. And again, your 1 to 5 and your 1 to 5, I'm sorry, your 1 to 3 and your 1 to 5 are both in before you get into that kind of weekly demand area. All right. So I like where that one is. I'm actually a fan of this gray area. And for those of you that can't see it, because again, MT4 is small, it's 108.43 to 108.63. So a small 20 pip zone on the 4 hour. Not too bad of a level, and we could probably refine that a little bit, lower. This would be one of those ones, set yourself an alert. Somewhere in here around what? 108.35. Give yourself like, 10 pips before the zone actually starts. That way it gives you plenty of time to be able to come back and do your analysis when you get the pop-up. But very much into kind of shorting that one. Now, if we do continue to push lower, and we touch this zone, I'm going to take this off. This is a much higher time frame zone, so I don't want to mess with this on the lower time frames, even though 4 hours is not too bad. Even on the hourly, I think that zone was fine. Yeah, we could raise it a little bit. We could bring it up to there. There's about 13 pips, right? There. So you can see we have plenty of room, even back on the 4 hour. Plenty of room on the 1 to 3 and the 1 to 5 before we get back down to that weekly demand zone. Okay, so that's our setup right now for the euro. Let's see, euro Singapore. I don't think we got much. Nah, not really. Again, we bounced off that small little piece there on the 30-minute. You guys can see we're in that wick over wick right now. It's the one we marked off yesterday. Right. And again, at one point, this is the 4 hour. You guys can see we hit it here. It came and shot down in this green.
it hit and was back up about 45 pips. So, you know, kind of an interesting one. You hate it when it turns here. You want it to go all the way down. But again, at this point, if you did take this trade, you're up over 1-to-1. Move your stop loss to break even. But again, it is bouncing off and has gone a bit higher. I would have liked it without this little green area. I wish this had come straight down. It would have been a much better trade than the pullback, but nothing I can do about that one. So again, this one is in a long position. Euro yen. Okay, euro yen. You can see on the 1 hour we had a nice little pop there, but we're still driving. We're still driving. We're still driving. Right. Here's our 4 hour. You guys can see kind of the same thing. You know, it has us in a downtrend setup on the daily and the 4 hour and daily, because again, it is pulling back in that downtrend and dropping it down to a lower time frame. Again, 1 hour, kind of the same situation. We were calling for a Harry Potter trade here, and we didn't necessarily get the space again, right? We came down, and again, this is on the 30-minute. Not really there. Actually, that's not even black space. This would probably be the best thing that we can get out of it. And again, on the hourly, you guys can see it was down and up in one candle. Okay, never gave us true kind of. Now this is what I'm talking about being the black space. But again, it's already punched down again, so it's not going to be, it's not the same type setup anymore. Okay. And again, it's only good really for one attempt. All right. Here, would that be considered black space? Okay, right? It's okay. But again, on the 30-minute, this zone, we'd have to adjust the zone anyway. That was an hourly zone that we drew this one on. So we'd have to adjust this a bit higher, in which case you would have been up probably 2-to-1 probably. So it wouldn't have been fine. But this was drawn off the hourly. So again, no black space here, but this had already triggered. So no trade for us really on this one. All right, so I'll remove this, just so you guys can leave it. And again, if you guys, oh, it's on the other time frame. Was it on this one? No. All right, so still short. I'm still short-minded on this one. I just want to see where it's going to pull back up to, and what type of pressure we can get to the downside for this one. Was looking at this earlier, but I don't know if I necessarily like that as much. As you can see, it's same zone on the 30-minute, but it's not clean. I like this one. This is a nice one. I like the thickness here, but this one is 5 pips on the 30-minute. I like this one at 10 pips a lot better than this one. So we'll see. I like to see in some. Euro yen is not my favorite pair. It's one of those pairs that has a great movement and then does nothing, and it just gets boring. You guys can see CAD Swiss so close to a daily demand. Again, we're not touching this one until it gets all the way down. This one now is 28 pips, but it has an ATR of 32. So not too much there. Again, it's going to need another day to marinate. Euro pound. So Euro pound is down 20, although we've had some pullback here, right? So here's it on the daily, right? Okay, still sitting inside of that daily demand zone. Again, it shows us that we should be probably going long on this one. That's what it's showing, although we've kind of gone back and forth and we've pushed very deep into the zone. On the 4 hour, you can see this is kind of where we're at. We've been sitting, again, huge impulse, correction, impulse, again, not as low, which you kind of worry about. Again, pulled up, went a little bit higher, and then boom, all the way back down again, and has now started to kind of come down again. So it looks like it wants to go down even further. Again, but it's still sitting right in that area. It needs to go just a bit farther. And even on this hourly, you can see that it's kind of moved. It's moved a little bit, but not tons. You will notice too that this pullback, the indicator did not mark it. Again, we were considered in the downtrend setup on the hour and 4. We're now just considered sideways. This zone, let's see. That zone's about 13 pips, so it did have some nice movement off of that. It is slightly higher. I don't mind this zone. I do not like this zone right here, and this zone I actually am a big fan of. So, I mean, if price gets up to this zone, then yes, I am. Whoops. I'm definitely into shorting from that zone, and I like where the targets are placed, in the first place. This second one, not so much, and the question is what's going to happen, or what time would we hit this zone? Really depends on if I'd be willing to take it in that other zone. Oops. I don't know what I did. Let me delete that. There we go. So there's a potential in there as well if you want to get us something a little bit more aggressive, but it depends. If this is right before the pound news, then yeah, I'd be interested in taking this one short. And again, you can take this in Nadex. This is definitely one of those limited risk trades that you can take. If from now till 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we can kind of grind our way up 24 pips. And again, on the hourly chart, it's 8 pips, so it definitely can. It's possible we can grind up there.
If we can get into there, and again, it's an hour and a half into the London Open. If we can get this thing higher, right, I'd be willing to take this short in the next pair. Okay, look for something down in this level. All right. Oh, excuse me. So that was not bad. EuroCAD. I know. There's your demand zone. We got 4 hour. You can see nothing really clear on this one. And again, it's been so long since prices went down here, we don't even really have any levels below. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to run into. You guys can see this one on the 30-minute, but I'm not super worried about it. It came back up. It pulled here in this drop, sideways drop. And it's spent so much time, it's eaten this thing up. It's going to continue to go lower. This one, again, if there's any type of nice pullback, we could potentially take it, but I'm expecting we'll slow, and I don't think we're going to hit. I don't think we'll slow down in this pair until we get down to 141.82. So again, we have good Canadian news tomorrow. This will continue and help this drive even further. But when we do get down to here on the daily, then yes, I could potentially be looking for a long position in this one. Hopefully, we've also had a drop in the other European pairs, and the other European pairs are also sitting in a demand zone. I would like to get that. I'd like to get that confirmation on multiple pairs to be able to take it long. Okay. Looking at the pound, brother Rob. Yeah, brother Rob started a marketing company, and Mr. Wonderful, I guess, or whatever. I don't know how Rob found him. He probably found him. Rob likes going to seminars. I think he found it like a seminar or something like that. So Rob's been busy helping real estate agents, I think. Rob's in, if you guys don't know, Rob's down in like the Miami area. I guess real estate it's always hot in Miami, but Rob has found something that's done really, really well to help them get like more clients down there. And I told him, I was like, he's like, is that okay? I was like, yeah, man, go for it. So I was like, strike while the iron's hot, buddy. So he's actually working on, it's some type of like, I don't know if it's Facebook marketing or ads for basically for real estate agents, but having like a really good time with it. Rob's a very technical guy. He likes kind of the technical, like the algorithms and that kind of stuff. And I was like, hey man, go for it. If you're having fun with it, do it, man. I'm not going to hold you back from it. So yeah, he's dealing with that. All right, I was doing something, but actually gun stocks went down due to the ban not passing. Gun stocks do well when bans and regulations. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, because when you think it's going to be gone, people buy more. When people buy more, right? Because they're like, oh my God, you're going to outlaw ammunition. I'm going to buy everything. I'm going to buy everything. But like I said, whenever people hear that, like, basically, yeah. But you got to think of it like this too. When guns are in the news, then people are like, okay, I'll buy one. So like it's kind of one of those like, news is good. He got a real job. He didn't get a real job, James. He made a real job, basically. Yeah, I mean, Rob was a swing trader anyway. Guys, got to realize Rob would take positions that would last like a week. When we have movements like this, Rob would have been he just would have been pulling his hair out. So it's just one of those things. I mean, like I said, he's a young guy. Wants to do multiple things. He still trades. He still looks at charts. He told me if I ever need him to fill in for a chart school, he would do it. To help me out with it. But like I said, I was like, Rob, I'm not going to pull you away from things that you're passionate about. And he's really enjoying it. Like I said, he's really found something in it. Like, not that he didn't like trading, but he's really enjoying the marketing aspect of it. It's fun for him right now. So I was like, go for it, man. If if trading is boring because it's not moving enough for you right now, find something it is, dude. Go. Have fun. All right, so pound pairs. Here we go. So look at this spike up on the 30-minute. We went into that zone. On the daily, again, it's kind of flat, right? And you guys notice, let me drag the indicator across. Consolidation, consolidation, consolidation across the floor. Right? So again, lots of consolidation. Well, what do we have here? It's sitting inside of, the action is sitting inside of the anchor, which is sitting inside of the prior. I mean, it just consolidating. It's literally, it's just folding on itself. Looking at the 4 hour, you guys can see the same thing. If I stretch it out really, really big to make it exciting, it's like, ooh, there's a little bit in here, right? There's a little bit of a demand zone earlier. Again, nice pop off of this. It did come back down and grab it. I feel like we marked this one off last night as well. And you can see it hit your 1 to 3 target. Now, the 1 to 5, again, I would not have used that one. It is past the top. So again, a little bit riskier, especially inside of this consolidation. And especially because we had this drop, the sideways, and the drop. Okay. Now, this was a zone as well. I think we marked this off last night as well, but there you go. And you guys can see that's what kind of the top of this was. We didn't hit it today. Obviously, we were back over in here, but again, just being this is here, these are hitting here. Again, this 1 to 5 is in a little bit of a risky spot. I would have used the 1 to 3 on this one, and that would have been the safe exit on this one. So that's what we kind of had going on the 4 hour. Looking at it on a 1 hour as well. Again, you guys can see, it was a little bit lower. This one pulled it off the 4-hour. I like this top area. Okay, so we are currently what? About 40 pips from this top zone. With the news at 4:30 in the morning as well, this may be a potential area that we kind of spike up into. On the 4-hour, you can see we're a little bit, we're a little bit close. And again, depending on where we end up before the news release, this may be a nice little, area to short from. Now, even on the hourly, that zone is fine. Okay, yeah, that zone is fine. Let's see, what do we got here? Zone's about 17. Okay, so again, pound yen is going to move a little bit more. The daily ATR on this one right now is 99. We've dropped back below 100. So it'd be along, whoops, it would be somewhere along there. Again, 1 to 3 is in a good place. The 1 to 5 is not in a horrible place. There is a wick over wick you guys can see that is formed from here down to here. And it's kind of smack in the middle of that. So just got to be a bit cautious of that one if you're looking to take this one short. Like I said, price is about 40 pips away right now. Yeah, you're looking about 43 pips away. It's 1 hour ATR is 15. So we definitely could cover that room in 3 hours, which would give us still like another 3-4 hours to be able to get that high. So it's possible if we do get up to this range and we are close to this one before the news release. Again, an easy way to take that one is use Nadex, get something a little bit farther out of the money. If you can get on like a shorter duration, that would be even better. So the strike prices are a bit closer. But again, I do think we are probably due for some type of a pullback, whether it be something along these lines, or just, kind of a, 12 hours of kind of just down, right? We've been kind of grinding back up again. If we can hit that zone, that would be a nice place. We've seen it before. Last time price hit it, it had a pretty decent run back to the downside. That's kind of what I got set up for this one, right? Again, in a pair, in a pair that basically is all consolidation, you gotta, grab them where you can. So look at this one on the 4-hour. On pound Aussie, you guys can see this one has kind of rallied a bit higher. This one kind of came off here and dropped back down again. So again, we would not have taken it. It actually hit 2-3 times. This is the third time and pushed down. Went over 1-to-1, and then number 4 is where the breaker happened. So again, remember, 4 is a magic number. You're really playing your cards if you try to take something for a 4th time, right? 1, 2, 3, and it pulled back all the way to here, and then 4 was the magic number. So looking at this one on the hourly, you can see the hourly we are kind of boxed off. Now we're right in the middle, and again, pound Aussie has the ability to move. We're about 50 pips from the bottom side, and we're about 90 pips from the top side. I highly doubt we're going to hit. I mean, again, I guess if anything, we're closer to the bottom side. But pound Aussie is another one of those ones that, man, it has some legs and it can run, right? It can run. I would wait till it gets to one of those 2 areas. Okay, this is on a 1 hour. Set yourself an alert if you're interested in trading this one. Be very cautious of this one with CPI. This one will jump with CPI. So again, this one is kind of one of those ones you have to show a little bit of patience until we get to top or bottom. You're still in the Aussies. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know, James. I was looking up today, so I'm kind of going quick today. All right, so that's pound Aussies. Pound dollar. Okay, let's refresh the indicator. There we go. All right, so yeah, here's the daily, totally engulfed. Here's your 4-hour. Look at this. It was down here last night. It went down, it went up, and it's right back in the same exact spot. So again, really no movement in this one, and it's not even like there's a good supply zone up top, and this demand zone is okay. Dropping down to the hourly. Again, look at this. We came down, we went back up, we hit it, and bam, we came right back down again. Right? So, I mean, here's where we are right now. Here's where we were last night. Right? We were right here last night. And I said, hey, we need to get to one of the 2 sides. It came up, it grabbed it, and went right back down again. We're in the same exact spot, but it did drop first, came up, tagged it, and went back down again. So, again, we marked this one off last night. Anybody that took this trade, you didn't quite make your 1 to 5. It's close. It's super, super close, but your 1 to 3, you got tagged. You did well with your 1 to 3. And again, this is why it's important when you're sitting at the 50% mark, wait till price to come to you. All right. This one, let's see. We're here. This one would have triggered at about 7 o'clock this morning, 6, 7 o'clock this morning for most of you guys, is when this one would have triggered. And then again, you had a second almost reentry. I think we missed it by a few pips, but again, you could have got into this one if you wanted to, especially with Nadex. And again, it gave us a drop of 44. But for the day, right? For the day, it's down 3 pips total, right? Look at this. 3 pips, 24-hour pip change, 3 pips. But again, that's what we had, right? So again, you got to be able to take advantage of these when they're there, right? Strike while the iron is hot. Okay. Right now, again, we're kind of in the middle. If we go up top, I'd be willing to potentially take a short, depending on if it, I don't want it to base. This one went right in. I don't want it to base before the zone. But again, I think that top is still valid for a short, and this is probably still valid for a long. So again, mark these two off, top and bottom. Check out news and see what you got coming. Pound CAD. All right, pound CAD. I mean, look at this daily consolidation, and we're forming a V. We're getting really, really close. Here's the 4 hour. I'll stretch it to make it look really, really exciting. And again, we're talking about 90 pips top to bottom. So I mean, I guess I could say, ooh. But again, the spread's going to be bigger on this one. This was a zone that we talked about last night on the 4 hour. As you guys can see, here was the 1 hour. Okay, we did not make it all the way back up. So again, it would have been a little bit difficult. This is not the best zone in here. It's okay. I mean, I don't think the indicator actually would have caught any of the indicator was a little bit shy, right? This was actually a retest of this zone, so we'd have to go higher. And being this close, I think even on the hour, we would have had to wait to get up here. And we didn't make it. We got front run, and now it's back in the middle between the two zones. So, it's just kind of there. Wait, what is my wife saying? Uh-oh, what is she messaging me for? Something about babysitting. She messages me like the most random stuff at night. It's funny. I'm like, I'm in chart school. Why are you asking me about babysitters? So pound CAD, we're approaching this level again. I would say that this is not a horrible level. This is okay. I don't like the way this candle form. It's pushed into here. This one, not so much. If anything in this pound CAD, I would wait till we get back down to this level. I would not use either of these two. I would use this bottom one. I'd be looking for something along those lines if we can get that low. Okay. Vice versa. Again, if this is starting to rally higher, I would not use this zone. I would be a bit more conservative, and I would take it off the top zone. So top side entry would be 173.24. Bottom side entry would be 171.43. Okay, top and bottom for those two for pound CAD. Pound Singapore, again, actually today was rather muted. I'm not going to drop the lower pairs. Still waiting for a short to come in at 182.13. We were unable to do that thus far. Drop into pound Swiss. Pound Swiss, you guys can see. Let me refresh the indicators. You guys can see this one came back up about 12 hours ago and tagged that area again. We mentioned it last night. Again, this one barely touched it. We mentioned that it would still be a good level. Dropping into a lower time frame, you can see here. That's kind of the aggressive entry to it, but it hit it and went lower. So it's all right. Pound Swiss is a weird one. It's not my favorite pair. I think there's a lot of things going on with Pound Swiss, so you need to be a bit cautious with it. Again, being a hybrid, the spread's going to be higher, the volume's going to be lower, things can get spiky, and again, you have nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, this thing just pops. So I didn't trade this one. I didn't even look at this one today, so I'm not going to pretend like look, I took this. No. I think the best analysis on this one is literally here and here, top and bottom. This one actually, this low here, I'm not actually a fan of. This one is actually not bad. So it'd be this level here starting at 182.17, and then the bottom side at 125.99. Last but not least, pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand is another one of those funky pairs that I'm not really. Here you go. You guys can see. Again, driving a little bit higher, getting close to an area of demand. As you guys can see on the 4 hour, we did hit that zone, right? We did hit that zone that was marked off. Dropping it down to the hourly, you guys can see we had this zone here marked, and we actually missed this. We got front run. So the indicator actually would have grabbed it. It had been very, very close to take this one to the downside. I did not grab this one, didn't look at this one. I was a bit too busy with the website today. You can see it is almost at a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio on that one. Not a bad little trade if you guys were able to grab it. I did not. But if anybody did, not horrible. The risk on this one, risk was about 36. So again, even if I saw it, I would not have taken this one. And again, it is questionable. It is super, super close as far as that entry goes. Yeah, it hit the line. So yeah, you probably would have got entered in that position. All right. So that is the pound pairs. Let's drop down and look at New Zealand's. Was that a pick of Wes? Huh? What are you talking about? I got some of that. Oh, I'm totally confused. Ernest is getting something. Where did the pick of Wes come in at? Wes is here. I don't even know where Wes is. Now I'm like, what? What's happened? What did I miss?
You lost me. Factory. Oh, the kid picture on Forex Factory? Kid picture on Forex. I think that was Donald Trump. Kid picture. I'm totally confused now. That is not West. That's Donald Trump. I'm gonna tell West that you called him Donald Trump. I don't know how that's gonna go over. All right. New Zealand guys. All right. So here we are on the daily. Again, we're kind of in the middle here. Let's blow this bigger. You guys can see we're talking about, again, finding good levels on this one. We're kind of smack in the middle. We really need to wait. On the 4 hour, it's kind of, we're getting close, right? We did pull back a little bit. We're about 27 pips from that area of demand. It isn't a downtrend setup, so let's drop down to a lower time frame and see if we can see where there's anything good. I mean, there's a zone here, but it's about 7 candles wide. Yeah, I don't think this one just doesn't have really enough room to run. Like I said, looking at this one here on the daily, you can see we have an area right here. This area by was the low, super close to it. Again, being kind of an odd pair. If there was a clean area, I'd look for it, but at this point, there's just not going to be enough room based off of any of the risk levels on this one. I mean, this level here is about 11, and the 3 to 1 is just not here. There's not enough risk to reward ratio on this one. So I think New Zealand CAD, we're going to get much out of it. Let's go to this guy. Well, your 1 to 3 is done on your daily, right? Today's daily, you ended up, we talked about this last week. We finally actually triggered and hit it. Let's see. You guys can see here, we ended up bouncing right off of it. So let's remove this now. Get that out of the way so we can clear the chart a bit. All right, so there we go on the 4 hour. We're bouncing off a small zone. Let's see. 6 pips. I don't think that zone's going to hold. I think this is going to end up popping the downside. Trying to see if we had a nice little entry, and we don't. I was looking for something like a nice wick over wick or something clean with a pop, and there's nothing. Let's see. Minutes. Unfortunately, this zone is not really a clean zone on this one either as well. And again, it's kind of like we have 2 levels down here. We're only talking about moving 6, 7 pips. So unfortunately, New Zealand is not giving us enough movement right now. A little nicer. Let me see. Coming off a demand zone on the daily. Coming off a daily demand zone. Yeah, we can't short this one right now based off of what we're seeing right now. Again, maybe potentially look to short top. The first really clean entry. This is kind of the aggressive one. The best one in here is probably a bit far away from where we are right now. About 120 pips. The daily ATR on this one is only 60. So that's like 2-3 days worth of movement. So New Zealand yen is not really going to give it to us. Let's see. One bounced off that level. Yeah, this one finally completed its target. Last night we were sitting over here close, so this one is complete. And that. Oh, I'll just delete it. So right now, again, on the 4 hour, you guys can see we're kind of smack dead in the middle right now. Boxed in. So New Zealanders don't really have a whole lot for us. Maybe tomorrow night with the Aussie news, we'll get something out of that one. Let's pull the guy. What do we got here? So it looks like on the daily, the dollar yen is actually up in a zone. We got very close. You guys can see right here. On this side, it looks like we're close. It looks like we've been front run just by a little bit. This one got hit. Now we need this one to go to a bit higher. This is actually not a horrible zone. I like the way that this one kind of, again, kind of descending, right? Here, and this one popped a little bit in. This one got front run. So we are about about 16 pips from that one. So not actually a bad little kind of entry point on that one. I like where the 1 to 3 is. I like the fact that there was a little basing there, so that's a pretty good target. The 1 to 5, I'd like if it was a little higher, but that's actually not bad as well. So this one would be about 10 pips risk, 110.18 to 110.28. And, a little 10 pips. And then again, that's a 4-hour chart. See if we can get this one to the downside to kind of roll and flip on us. Hourly, it's probably okay. Again, the 1 to 5 is a little bit deep, but I think we'd be okay. Excuse me, 1 to 3 is in a good position. Even on the 30-minute, let's check it. Like I said, I'd like it if it was here. But again, your 1 to 3 is in a completely fine position. It's before this level of basing, and it actually, the last time it retested, it went even lower. So nice little area. I don't mind that area whatsoever. Again, if we can get back up. And again, that would be on a 4-hour level. So, we'll see. If it turns and starts to head back down again, we've missed it. We've been front run. But again, mark that one off. That's not a bad level. Looking at dollar Swiss. Let's see. So dollar Swiss gave us kind of a little funky up and down kind of craziness there, right? This one, hey, look at this. We ended up going through that zone we had marked, went all the way back down to here, and then went all the way back up exactly where the top of that zone was. So looks like this zone failed on us. Remove that. Again, zones are going to fail. That's why we take small risk on them. What I don't like is we're not getting anything, and that's what I was trying to look for to see if there's anything clean in here, but not really. I think that's the best opportunity in act. I would actually move this a bit higher. I would go from here. Actually, you know what? I'll just do it this way. Should be good. Up there. That area is at 91.10 to 91.26. So 15, 16 pips on that one for dollar Swiss. And again, that's a 4-hour level. I don't know. Again, we got to see how we base on the way up. I can't really tell right now. Again, we are moving back in that kind of uptrend on this one. Like I said, we're looking for a pullback, and then again, we're hitting a level here where we had sellers before. So it is a counter trend trade, kind of in the, not all the way at the top, but it's not necessarily a bad zone on the 4-hour. So I'd be looking to take that one and play a retrace back to the downside. Okay. That would be dollar Swiss. Let's see. Dollar Singapore. Again, you guys can see we entered that same area on the hourly. Here's where we were on the daily. We had blocked that level off. We did hit it, and we're kind of stuck up there. So again, still short this position. This was from some. All right, so there we go. So you guys can see here are the two lines where the entry was. It hasn't really moved far. This one is basically going sideways. Again, no news for this one. You get a little bit of virus news. This is definitely a virus-based trade, if anything else. So again, we were on the daily short on this one. Looking for levels really to come back down again into this zone. But again, we're kind of stuck, right? We hit once, came down, came back up, pulled back again, made a third attempt, and we'll see if this is the time. If we start to break lower below this low here at 138.79, definitely could give us the kind of the confirmation that we need to start really collapsing. Because besides this wick over wick right here at 138.20 to 138.00, we really don't have a whole lot on the way back down again. So again, expect somewhat of a retrace. Again, things that'll move this one to be any type of good news about the virus, that we're seeing less things, less people are dying, we have a vaccine, any of those things. Those are all the things we're looking for, and that's what would take this and drive this back down again. This is the start of the coronavirus here. So you can see the coronavirus has been very bad for the Singapore dollar, right? Very, very bad. All right, so those are the dollar ones. Let's go back and look at some of the indices and see what we got. Audio was cutting out on that one. I don't know. I see James has too many. All right, so let's see. CL. Look at this guy.
look at the rally on this guy. All right, so let's go back here and reset all these things. All right, so this one is pulling back up into a daily level. Again, we saw some grinding back up again. As you guys can see, this one had this little bit of level here. Again, nothing clean. This is an okay level. I actually like it a little bit better here, but I think I remember telling you guys before, I really like the way that this one gapped and then reacted off the gap. So my favorite on is here based off the 4 hour. Looking at this one, you guys can see this one. I think this one actually we were all the way down here. Let me see. Hold on. Let's see. 23. No, we were right here. Oh, you know what we're doing? We're trying to do a Harry Potter on this one. Yeah, this was a Harry Potter setup. All right, makes more sense now. I'm like, wait, what do we have? Why do we have that drawn there? Yeah, it's a Harry Potter setup. Yeah, there we go. It was a Harry Potter setup. All right. So in this case, you guys can see right here. You guys see how this went over, right? You guys can see that this was actually formed. We had some basing. There's a green candle. There's black in there. Came back up, touched, and continued to push to the downside. Now this one went from 51.60 down to 51.17. Very, very close in the exit though. Very, very close. So again, when you started the base on top of it, that would have been the time to get out. But this is an example of what I'm talking about with a Harry Potter, right? Price came down. We had green candles form underneath that were unable to get back to the zone, right? Form sideways. And that's where it re-entered the area and then continued to push the downside. So again, this is a little bit of a faster one. This is obviously too big of a level. Remember, with the Harry Potter, as soon as it touches a profit target, when it comes back, as soon as it touches anything, you're out, right? It touched the bottom, you're out, right? Again, so this would have been that nice. I was like, I know we had something in this one. And after that time, it ended up hitting this lower level right here, and it was off to the races. So we are back up to 52.53. I'm not a fan of the 52.53 because, again, I do not want more expensive gas. I went cheaper gas. And this is going in the wrong direction. So I want it to go back down again. Unfortunately, again, we have a little bit of a zone here, and that zone is sitting right at 53.10. Again, we need about 60 cents for that one. And then again, this nicer level is up here at 54. Now, remember, this week we don't have the oil news until Thursday. Okay. Thursday oil news this week because obviously the market was closed. So we have 2 more days. I know tomorrow's Wednesday, and it's like, oh, it's crude oil tomorrow. No, crude oil is not till 11 a.m. on Thursday. So not one of those days. Yeah, NASDAQ will be. I'm gonna do NASDAQ next. Yep. All right. So CL, that's what I'm waiting for. I don't really necessarily have an area to get in this one long. I'm more waiting for this one to come back up and go short. Even the 30-minute levels to the downside, it's like, it's okay. This whipsaw back and forth here, I'm not a huge fan of it. And actually, this here would be a retest of this rally base and then rally higher. Okay, so there was an entry here that you could have taken in crude oil. Question is, did it mark it? It probably didn't because it's overlapping. Yeah, it did because it's overlapping. But there was this base here, guys. Actually, it would be there, but you guys can see we tagged the top of it there. So there was a long in oil. Let's go over and look at. We'll look at gold because I didn't really like gold last night. Yeah, gold went a little bit higher today, pushing higher. Like I said, nothing above. Like I said, when it's kind of at near-term all-time highs, not all-time, but near-term highs like this, I'm not going to mess with it too much. Here's the 30-minute. You guys can see there was a bit of a pullback off this 30-minute. It's always hard though. Like I said, anytime you're pulling, anytime you're pulling low, things that are at, when I say all time, I mean obviously this is not all time, but like when you're this high, again, and you're approaching this, there's, again, look at this on a daily. I mean, look, there's nothing anywhere even remotely close to this, right? So even on the weekly, right? We're going all the way back, and there's just nothing even remotely close. You always want to be careful about trying to peg tops in this one because obviously, it needs to come back to grab more orders to go a bit higher. In this case, again, that would have been a very aggressive top. It did put a lower high in, but then it broke that high as well, and it wasn't like the lows went much lower. So if you're super aggressive, an hour and a half ago, yeah, you could have got this one in there. Sold it for 1604 down to 1601, but a very, very small level. I mean, it didn't really move a whole lot. And again, like I said, very, very high. You got to be very cautious. Looking at silver. Okay. Silver now, right? So silver, looking at this one, we mentioned this last night that we were kind of in between 2 little areas. We had pushed up into the side of a sell zone, and what type of movement we have out of that. So Here's the 4-hour picture. And again, we hit it, we pulled back again, we hit it again, came back again, and this is number 3, and we're starting to see a candle finally, but is there actually a supply zone on the lower time frame? Yeah, it looks like there is actually. We do have a little bit of one here, and it's not horrible. That's actually not a bad little zone. Starting at, let's see, what, 1829 up to 1833. It's not horrible. We do have this little level of basing here, which does make it a little bit weird, a little bit more difficult, but the 1 to 3 is actually in a pretty good place in this one. If you guys are looking to get into something kind of in the overnight, it's not quite there. It's a little bit shy of that zone. If it turns and flips, probably not the best idea, but it's not actually, not a horrible zone. Like I said, I don't really look at silver often. I looked at it because Sean was having some good success with it, and I was like, all right, well, let me start doing some analysis on it. And again, you guys can learn if it was any other chart, you had to take that one. But again, 1 to 3 is in a good spot. I like that 1 to 3. We'll see. Let's see. Yeah, that zone's fine. The zone is okay. We got the test on there. Wait, what? Yeah, so there'd be a short in silver. Let's go across and look at the NASDAQ. So you can see NASDAQ. What did it do? Rally back up again, right, on the 1 hour. Okay, here's your daily. Again, we're sitting up here, again, trying to pick the very, very top of this one. Just really not the smartest thing to do. Looking at your 4 hour, what do we got? You guys can see it is butting up to where price was before, right? Okay, look at it on the hourly. Kind of a similar situation, right? Now it's approaching it. It actually just refilled the gap, right? It's getting close, right? The news tomorrow. Let's see. We only have orange news now. FOMC meeting notes at 2. That could potentially provide some fuel for this one to start moving a little bit. But again, be very, very cautious. Anything high. I mean, if anything, if you wanted to take something small off this one, there's a short at what, 96.72 up to 96.83, so about 10 points. Not bad. Like I said, whenever you're messing with the top of things, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But that one's not, that one's not bad. If you're looking to put, something limited risk on there, that's not horrible. S&P, you guys can see, has pulled back, has not gone as high. 4 hour, again, this one has not filled the gap like the last one did. Okay, it is attempting to go higher, but is not, quite there. On the 1 hour, let's get the new data. There we go. You guys can see this one did come down, it did grab a zone, and is now pushing higher. Interesting enough, this one is definitely lagging behind the other one. This one, again, this one may actually be a little bit more, let's see, how far are we? So currently, with it being at 33.81, if we go up to 33.88, that would be where we're somewhat looking for a short area. And we do have core PPI tomorrow. That's interesting. If in the overnight we can put ourselves up near these highs, that may be one of those trades that we're looking to take something early morning, some type of a Nadex position. Again, it could absolutely explode out of the top for no reason, just because of like I said, core PPI is not anything great. But again, when we're sitting up here, we've had issues. This one is already lagging, so it's a bit weaker than at least the Nasdaq. There could be a short up somewhere somewhere up in this area, right? Probably like more along those lines, right? That's not bad. Like I said, this continues to grind. Your 1 to 3 is probably in a good spot. Your 1 to 5 is, I don't know. We'll have to see it tomorrow morning. But again, in the overnight, if we can get up into it, and even to the gap area, but I think it's probably safer because this kind of tested off of this zone. That's not a bad little area. Again, 33.90 to 33.93 would be that upper end zone. Looking at the Dow. Okay, so you can see the Dow. Okay, this one is also pulling back. Okay, so the Nasdaq was a real winner here. This one is pulling back, and again, this upper area has been pretty good. This is kind of just like the last one, right? Here was the gap, and this was like slightly higher than the gap. We're kind of in the same area, and it's continuing to push. Now, this one, unlike the other one, has a little bit of an area of buyers right below it. Okay, so you guys can see right here. Let's see. This one is down at what? 29,075 to 28,885. This one's kind of in the middle. I like this as an area down here. I do like the way that this formed. I like with the fact that we haven't touched it. So on the Dow, I like that on the hourly. On the 4 hour, I think I like the top section. So I'd be kind of looking for that from the top side, and then this for the bottom side. So let's change that to green and change this to red. Okay. So it's kind of like a wait and see. Top side, bottom side on those two. All right. And again, one was done with the 4 hour, one was done with the hourly. Looks like that's it. Yeah, those are those four. Yeah, I don't really love, like I said, the indices are a little bit funky. I don't like messing with the tops of things. If I can find something smaller on the lower time frame, I'll deal with those, but not too bad. And again, we are in a downtrend setup on the 1 hour, 4 hour. There's just not a great zone right here right now, at least on the lower time frames. 4 hour and daily, same thing. Downtrend setup, looking for a zone. All right, that's all of them, guys. Not too bad. All right, so again, let me pull the scanner back up again, just so you guys can get another kind of glimpse of the scanner, what we have going. Like I said, in the Aussie bucket, and actually, you know what I'll do? I'll pull the stream elements across. Make sure you guys get in for the ticket. When I'm done the scanner, I'm going to go ahead and call this one. Looks like Linda was in with the last ticket over here. Whoops, I blew the scanner up. Where'd it go? All right, there we go. Whoop. No, don't touch that. Oh, there we go. I was trying to move around. So, again, a lot of different things setting up in the European basket. Remember, a lot of these are bouncing off demand zones. That's why they have downtrend setups. Aussie basket is in a very similar situation. Aussie basket is still very much at risk with the coronavirus, so be cautious over there. Pound, as you guys can see now, there's actually one considered this way. It used to be two. All consolidation. Okay, all consolidation. So again, the pound is actually in need of news to be able to do much with it. Again, definitely hurting, right? And again, CAD basket, it's a little bit better now. We have some confirmed here. We have two different setups. But again, against the big pairs, against the euro, the Canadian, and the dollar, it's all consolidation. It's only against the smaller commodity-based pairs that we're seeing setups. Again, the yen's always going to be on the weaker side. The Swiss, again, a little funky, but that one is just heading straight down. And again, the Aussie CAD, downtrend setup, but the two lower time frames are consolidation down, consolidation down. So again, this one will probably go to the consolidation phase also. With that CAD news CPI in the morning, this basket will probably get jumbled a little bit. Okay, but don't forget, look at your 2 hour binaries tomorrow morning for that one. Look at the overall majors of what we really have. Again, dollar yen obviously up, dollar Swiss obviously up. Okay, I expect this one. We're looking at this one. We're talking about this one actually turning and flipping, and then the three downtrend setups, right? Basically, dollar strength across the board. Dollar strength versus the euro versus New Zealand versus the Aussie, and not surprised on these. And again, the Aussie is getting closer to demand zone. Actually, we just came out of it, as well as the euro is close to a weekly demand zone. So be a bit cautious with that one as well. All right. Like I said, the big things we're focusing on is some of the reversals in the European basket and some of the reversals potentially inside of the Aussie basket. All right. So let's see if I can find the stream elements tab now. I put it down and I got to find it again. There we go. All right. So 11 people are in for tonight. Looks like 12 people. We have Sean and JTech trying to go in for double to see if they can increase their odds. All right, with that being said, I will close this down now, and let's go ahead and draw our winner. And the winner is Sean. His 2 tickets paid off yet again with a 15% chance. So he was able to pull it out this time. So do you guys want me to draw the first loser? First loser again tonight. Again, first loser doesn't get anything, but it's kind of fun to see who would have won had Sean not been here. And it's kind of like blackjack, right? When the guy next to you takes a hit and gets the card that would have got you 21, that's what Sean did there with that second one. He used some extra pip chips. But second winner would have been, ooh, look at that. Man, I know who's not getting any help tomorrow with his charts. Ah, look at that. All right, man, I want to mark that one complete. Let's get Sean his leaderboard tickets. Where is he at? Right there. Give him his 25 for the evening. And we have a lot of new members on the channel, guys. So one of the things I'm going to do probably Thursday night, for those of you that don't know, what I'm going to do is I am going to probably give away one of these. Oops. I can just do it this way. I'm going to give away one of the weekly breakdowns, probably Thursday.
Okay. Remember, this is a month-long subscription. You'll get it for 30 days. So again, Thursday night, I'll give one of those away. You guys can use extra pip chips if you want it. For those of you who don't have it, remember, it is just 10 pips a month. All right, 10 pips a month. Well, yeah, basically 10 minis a month. It's $10 a month, basically $2.50 a week, less than a cup of coffee. And it breaks down a whole bunch of different things in there. You guys can see on the right-hand side. I'm actually building the webpage for it right now. You can get access to it, but obviously on the front kind of description sheet, it's not there. But there's the news releases. And again, I don't know if you guys saw this week, the news releases did change around. I did add the parabolic retracements in there. Not everything is a parabolic retracement candidate, but all of these actually this week were. You'll see like the German flash manufacturing and Aussie notes were not. But for the most part, the actual big news releases this week were, as well as I added kind of the important speech dates. Weekly curve locations, again, very interesting. We had all low, all high, all low, and we're seeing these things start to kind of react off of them. Sunday night gaps this week, you guys will see we ended up doing 50 and 96. So again, turned out pretty nice. A lot of these things opened, and you guys can see the Aussie yen and pound yen. We basically got front run on both those. So this front run and this front one both went for their 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 targets. So again, a lot in there. And again, this is the big time consumer. I do this every single weekend. I find that the best quality zones using a combination of the 1 hour and 4 hour for every single one of the pairs that we cover, both supply and demand zones. So a lot of work goes into it, but I'm going to give one of those away on Thursday night for anybody that is interested in getting in. It won't be pip chips. It'll be for 30 days. And if you're already a subscriber, it will just extend your current subscription 30 days for the weekly report. All right. So guys, with that being said, I am out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow night. Hopefully there will be no more youth lacrosse drama, and I won't be spending half the day doing that kind of stuff. But I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same night. And like I said, indicator's up there. If you guys haven't downloaded the new one, it does have its alerts in there. All right. So you guys take care and have a good evening.